is taken over by women who power cybersecurity.
Exciting, or you secure a product to a certain point and you keep pushing the boundaries of the threat model.
It's not enough to say, I checked all the boxes that are here. I have this certification, I have that degree. Well, so do 50,000 plus others.
So I looked at them and it was, it opened the door to a new world to me.
The idea was to build a community around it, to foster an idea that will outlast me.
I say go with your dreams, if you want to do 2 things, if you want to do 3 things, if you want to do everything professionally, you can. You should just try it.
Solid experience and a background that, when I went back out into industry was, frankly attractive.
Welcome to Half Chat. My name is Marco Figueroa, and today we have a special guest. I am super excited because when I came into this industry, after the first 4 or 5 years, going to so many conferences, I decided I wanted to create my own. And speaking to people, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. But then I seen other people do it. And then the B-sides, came into play all over, the world. And today we have someone very special. We have someone that has done it and has done it very well. And if you don't know about Hushcon, and you're in the inside circles, I found out through different friends, like, are you going to Hushcon? I'm like, what is Hushcon? But we have one of the founders of Hushcon, and I want her to introduce herself. She's very special. I don't even know when I met her. I know it was many, many moons ago. But Noelle Murata, please introduce yourself. Thank you for coming on Hat Chat. I'm super excited. Let's go. Yes.
Hello. Hi, I'm Noelle Murata. So I've been actually doing a part of various conference circles for going on like 18 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But Hushcon is definitely my baby. And I don't know, I do security TPM work, as my day job. But really, I have a deep love for starting and running conferences.
How did, for me, and also for the listeners, how did you begin your road and journey into cybersecurity in general?
So I've always been a hacker at heart. I started programming when I was like 8 or 9, and I spent a lot of my teenage years doing questionable things. And then when I found myself, in sort of real life and real work, I started out in network security and security code review, and sort of skip forward a number of years, and now I do program management.
Nice.
Particularly for security programs.
Yeah. So when did you say to yourself, the hacking community and the love is for me? When was that?
That's a really great question. I think that I really developed the appreciation for giving back when I was working for Microsoft, and working with their outreach, security outreach, their community outreach programs. So, attending conferences, engaging researchers, it really gave me like a connection and a very like good appreciation for how just being a part of this dynamic, intelligent, complex community was like where I wanted to live.
And I love how you had to think about that and just be like, this is where I wanted to be. I always think about where I don't know where we met. I knew it was long ago, almost like Star Wars, like long time ago. But what I
In a
remember,
galaxy far, far away.
far, far away. But I do remember, we had these deep talks on SummerCon, summer after summer after summer in New York City and Brooklyn. And it was just like one of those things, like, I know that I'm going to see you in SummerCon and we're going to have some deep conversations. And that's the way I feel about some of these, these cons that are smaller, 300 people, 400 people. I know that I'm going to run into you and we're going to have some life-changing conversations. I haven't been...
So I'm going to say this. Go ahead.
No. I haven't, because of COVID, I haven't been to any cons, which I'm itching. So I will be at Black Hat DEF CON. But obviously with a mask, I got both shots, so I'm excited and happy to go. But I'll be careful. Yeah. And what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, one of the first conferences that I ever went to is a conference that flies super under the radar. It's a conference that we aren't supposed to talk about, so I'm not even going to say its name. But
is it in California?
It is in California.
So I am a part of that conference as well. So we will keep that out of the name. So it's super hush. It's hush plus plus.
It's a husher. It's
yes,
husher.
Yes.
Anyway, but that was the first conference that I was really involved with in a deep way. And the thing that really like moved me about it was there's all of these really bright, intelligent,
beyond
like,
intelligent,
people.
beyond
like crazy smart people. And you put them all in this room and you go, I know these people can change the world. And that's kind of like how I feel about.
So I have a quick question, because we're running in the same circles. So when was the last time you were there? Because I believe I was there the last 2 conferences and I didn't see you. This is the con that will not be mentioned.
Exactly. The last time I was there in person was 17.
Okay.
But I was on the steering committee between 2002 and 2012.
Okay. So I did a panel, I believe, in 2017. Was there in 2018, and when I tell you, I feel that have blown my mind, and I really feel I really feel bad for the people that are looking at this and are saying "F you," what are you talking about? But just understand, just to give you guys context over there, our listeners, I'm talking about the biggest names. I'm talking about a conference that is invite only. Like, this isn't like, it's a big deal. I don't even know how to describe it. When I sat down with people that blew my mind. I have pictures that I wish I could tweet that just like have blown my mind. Like, so for the people out there, I'm just going to give you one example. I went to this con in 2016, because I moved out to Cali in 2016. So I know I was still in Maryland. So I went out to this conference and I had a conversation. I took a picture and I reached out to the person when I moved to California. And I was like, look, let's have a cup of coffee. He was like, I don't do cup of coffees. I'm way too busy. Like, that conference was a one-off. Like, my time is like 100% booked. Like, I'm talking about the biggest of biggest. So, at the end of the day, I miss going to conferences, especially that conference where you get to rub shoulders with Titans. And I don't want to mention names, but I didn't know you were there. So this is an aha moment. Now,
That's one of the things.
yes,
Is that aha moment.
that aha moment was definitely there. So one of the things that you're known for is Hushcon. What made you, at least for me, like I knew you before, but then I started hearing rumblings of Hushcon. I was like, everybody's inviting me to Hushcon. Who is running Hushcon? And it was you. So what made you decide to create Hushcon?
That's also a great question. I hit a point in 2011 where I was like, you know what? I see all these cons going on. I see a lot of like interesting energy, but I think I want to do my own. Yeah, I think of it as like my Bender experience. It's like I'm gonna go create my own con with blackjack and hookers. Wait, forget the blackjack. except for Hushcon has nothing to do with hookers. It was just like, you know, I think I can do this in a way that is like great for
it was your own way
to build it to yeah, my own way, but like it was really like the idea was to build a community around it, to like foster an idea that will outlast me.
And let me ask you, how has COVID impacted that vision, that attendance?
Sure. So we've actually been kind of really taking things very slow and very cautiously. So we actually canceled both of the conferences, both Seattle and New York last year.
East and West, by everyone.
East and West.
East and West. Yeah. It's not just New York, Seattle. It's East and West. We're coastal here.
Coastal, yeah. And basically, like, so we opted not to do New York because if I was doing New York East Hushcon, I would not be on this call.
Yeah,
I would be in New York running a conference.
Because it runs in June.
Yep, and usually it's the first weekend. So.
And I've never attended, but this is what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, I've heard so much about it. I've never attended, but everyone that I know raves about Hushcon, and I can't wait until the first in-person con, Hushcon. I am going to be there because for years, it's not just 1 year, it's years upon years upon years. And
yeah, so well, we actually considered doing a like what other conferences were doing, which is the like, hey, maybe we'll do a remote, or maybe we'll like try to do a party thing, and it really just doesn't fit the Hushcon sort of style and ethics, right? Because Hushcon is largely off the record, similar to that conference that should not be named. You know, we don't do recordings, we don't do we discourage photos. We are pretty okay with tweets, but asking permission from, you know, like if it's about a presenter or something, or a presentation, you know, we tell people just ask permission before you social media this.
It's a big deal.
It's still hush.
What are the questions you must ask yourself when you're starting a conference?
Some big questions are when, where, who, and kind of thinking about the size is really important. Basically, if you nail down the when and the where, you can start looking at venues. When you nail down the size, you can really like refine that. And then the who aspect is how you want to sort of target your attention to CFPs or certain people. You know, are you just going to like blast a radius of, hey, everybody, like submit to the CFP, or are you trying to target like specific audiences and like therefore narrow down who receives that information?
What I have it for me, I know why you picked New York. Come on, I'm from New York. I know why you
For
picked
sure.
New York. Why Seattle?
So actually, let me sort of reverse that on you. I was living in Seattle when I started it, and
Okay.
then I moved to New York,
Oof. Okay.
and
There we
then
go.
I was like, why not both?
That is the why. There you go. It. What was the like initial thinking that you needed money to start Hushcon? Like, what was it that you said? Okay, I have the venue. I have all of these contacts that work for companies that want to maybe sponsor my conference. And a lot of people feel that, but they don't want to do the asking, right? What was it with you that says, "Hey, I'm going to create this amazing conference. I don't want to shell out my own dime, but I know all of these people will help me build this vision I have."
I mean, the thing is to start with the vision, and when you can sell that
Mm,
vision, when you can really talk about that vision to the people that you might want to ask for money from, and be able to say like, maybe like, so because HashCon is like very under the radar, I can't sell, I can't show like, oh well, you're gonna get all of this like extra dollars for being able to support my conference, but I can say that you can invite whoever you want, or you can submit to our CFP. Your people are going to be exposed to uh, other talks that will not be given anywhere else. And that was really like the early HushCon, that was one of the major things that I talked about, was these talks will probably not be given anywhere else.
mm, mm. So it is that exclusivity that you're giving.
It is a little bit of an
And
exclusivity for sure.
how,
I mean, obviously, like as we've grown and as people like as the conference has changed a little bit, some of those talks are also given elsewhere, but um, we usually get them first.
yeah. How did you get the word out on your CFPs? Was it word of mouth? For me, I heard through word of mouth through my network, and it's like, why weren't you here? I'm like, I didn't know it the first time. And then it's like, hey, when are you coming? I was like, oh my God, I need to get here. I feel like a bum. So,
100% word of mouth. It was basically like, I mean, um, once you sort of know the people that are on the core, like in the core circles, you say, hey, this is your CFP, this is your invite, and then say also you can invite whoever you want, you can share the CFP to whoever you want. That's how we like leveled up, or sort of exploded into the people that we might not have known firsthand.
yeah, for me, I heard of HushCon through friends and how amazing it was going to be. The first like conference. What made the first conference a success where everyone wanted to be on both coasts for the conference?
I think that the real answer to that is a trade secret,
Mm,
but we planned it during a time when we knew a bunch of other security professionals would be in town,
mm,
and that was the sort of keystone of our success. Is we planned it when we knew a bunch of other people would be in town, and sort of leverage that to for it to be a draw for the community to attend and to give to submit their talks. And yeah, I think that like I can promise next year the details of that conversation will
mm.
be totally bare to the public, but for
Yeah.
right now it's kind of a trade secret.
What made like HushCon? We talked about both coasts. What made you
Mhm.
decide to say I'm going to do it? I know you said I lived here and I lived over there, but usually if you live somewhere and start something, once a year, you're going to go back to Seattle to do it. What made you do it both? I know you had the bandwidth, obviously, to do it in Seattle and New York. Why didn't you just do it in New York when you moved over and decided to do 2 cons?
Well, so I think one of the things that I like to talk about the success of the conference is our volunteers. And a bunch of the people that had volunteered were from Seattle. And when I said, hey, I want to do a conference in New York, they're like, okay, cool. Like, we'll still do a conference in Seattle. And then I moved to New York and then recruited people from New York.
Oofa.
So having a sort of
hackers are everywhere.
Hackers are everywhere, but like that's kind of what I feel has been really great about evolving Hushcon, is really, finding people and like bringing everyone up a level. And
Nice.
Because people wanted to keep doing it in both places, I was like, let's do it.
How did you improve the conference from the first year, the first time you did it, and then like over and over and over again, where you improved the quality? And obviously when you improve the quality, the love is there, and the word spreads.
For sure. I mean, I think I'm going to go back to the thing that I just said about like recruiting volunteers, because I think that having a great staff has been like the 150% of why it's continued to be successful. And as the staff has grown and has more experience, actually me giving them the responsibility and the ownership of various tasks and various ideas, I think that at this point, my success is that I created a thing, but the continued success is really about all of the people that volunteer and all of the people that make the like one-to-one little decisions that make each conference great.
That is awesome. Kudos to everyone that has helped out.
Hushcon staff.
Yes. This is one part of your career. The other part is specializing in security programs, bug bounties, and stuff like that. What made you deep dive into that field? What was that one thing looking like for you?
So that's really interesting. I'm going to call back to my time at Microsoft. So I was doing community outreach and more the social aspect. The other part of my team was actually doing triage for incoming reports to security at Microsoft. And like that association, actually, like, because that role was so integral to getting bugs fixed, it really, like, I don't know, it had a draw to me because it was not just technical. It actually had like a researcher component. And I think that's like one of the qualities of a good bug bounty program is it's not just about the company, it's not just about the researcher, it's really about the interaction between, and like being able to, I mean, like particularly around responsible disclosure, that thing became really interesting to me. And I will actually say that it's kind of partially inspired by the person that I was working for at Microsoft.
Do you want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, that was little Miss Katie Masuris.
Oh, Katie, if
Mo.
you are listening, I wanted to have you on this podcast. So that is for an upcoming episode. I've reached out to her. She says, I'm too busy, but I will be on, just to let everyone know. She has given me the green light, so I'm looking forward to that. One of the things, what does your day-to-day look like, right? Where you're working 9 to 5 and then you have Hushcon. One of the things I want to know is how much time you spend on Hushcon, like during the week, and how does that interact with those two worlds connect in your life? How does that happen?
For sure. I mean, at this point, they connect regularly, but since we have gone through a period like, you know,
Pre-COVID.
COVID.
Let's do pre-COVID. Let's do pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, I would say like we, you know, meet for meetings once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course there's, you know, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours additional that is doing work in support of the conference. You know, whether that be.
So you're telling me 4 hours a week can assist you on creating a conference?
Oh, okay. Actually, like if you really want to go back to like year zero, like year
Yes.
one, it was it was 8-hour day, and then like probably a 10 to 15 hours a week of extra work.
Okay.
You know, and that involves like contacting venues, keeping up with sponsors, you know, getting back and forth with speakers.
So now it's a well-oiled machine, is what you're telling me.
It is now a well-oiled machine.
Okay.
Yes. Like,
okay. So for the people
like,
that want to start, understand 15 hours a day, and after years in the game, you got that well-oiled machine. You know where you're gonna go, and it's 3 hours just to have a little. We know what we're doing now.
Correct. You know, I mean, like, and I go back to this: hire a good staff, or like recruit a good staff, because like, you know, all the time that I was spending first year doing everything myself, now like there's 6 people at least that are doing portions of that, and it's now like a sixth of the time per person. So it's like, yo, an extra like 2 hours a week, maybe.
After this talk, I have a feeling there's going to be people that are going to launch their own conferences and want you on the board, because you have given them the path. You know, people sometimes fall in the ditch and don't know how to get out until you get in the ditch, and I've been there. Come on. You know?
Who hasn't?
Yeah. Let me ask you, what is next for you? What is next? What is the next 5 years looking for you?
Well, the next 5 years, well, I don't know. I'm still planning on being a good program manager person. And one of the ideas outside of that I've been entertaining is actually running a Bitcoin conference.
Ooh! Wait, you opened up a can of worms. Nope. That was my last question, but not anymore. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Do tell, because we're going to go deep for another 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Please, let's cut all of the, what are you going to do? Tell me about this Bitcoin. This is exclusive.
So I mean, like abstractly, I think the idea of blockchain is super interesting. I
agree.
Not specifically about money, but about the ledger aspects, about the verified receipt, like where it came from, where it's going, which is also a little bit of a ledger.
I agree.
But then you add money onto that, and there's this whole other like blossom of idea that is kind of fascinating, right? And now with the whole like NFT thing, it's just like I can.
Oh my god!
There's an iron here, and I want to strike it.
Well, you got to strike one thing. Is this NFT, the coin, the altcoins? What do you, if you're going to create a conference on coins or Bitcoins, what do you recommend for investors, and also the flip side of that, people that want to get into that want to use blockchain for the next business? Give me first.
I can't
first
really
investing.
Speak about the investor aspect, right?
Do you not invest?
I don't. I do, but I don't.
Well, wait. I
don't think I approach it with a strategy.
Okay, let me make you feel comfortable, because this is the first time
we're going off script.
Yeah, we're going super off script. You took it over there, and I'm gonna go with you. So I'm heavily invested in Ethereum, heavily invested in ADA, which is Cardano, heavily. And I'm heavily invested in Dogecoin on a hedge bet. When they go to Coinbase, they push a certain number, which I will then exit. That is my strategy. And I'm talking heavy. I don't talk about investments ever here, but you brought it up, and I'm going to tell you why. I want you to discuss what you're thinking. If you're creating a conference on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and the way the blockchain works, it is tied hand to hand. It is tied
with money. No, for sure.
Yeah.
So like the thing that I want to really dig into with this conference is about the technology.
The contracts.
Right? Like, yeah, the conference that I'm thinking about.
Conference.
I want.
And that is tied to the contracts, which is then tied per contract trading. It's a certain number. I've done my research. Like back when in the heyday, I was thinking of like exiting my position at my company and creating an ICO. So when you're talking about this, it is like something near and dear to my heart because I spent so much time how to create and how to look at, like I was creating Ethereum contracts, right? But understanding of how long it takes and stuff like that, I was just like, look, the way they're doing Ethereum contracts and everyone's being on that, it is very interesting. So I want you to put it out to the world. When are you doing this conference? Because I will damn near be there.
So I had this idea in like mid 19, and I was like, cool, give myself a year, kind of like we talked about, give myself a year, and then COVID happened. So I'm gonna see how the rest of this year plays out, but it's probably gonna be 22 sometime, like late 22.
Would it be a marriage of cryptocurrency and security?
Of course. I mean, because really, like the things that I want to get into are the technology and the security, and yeah, the money part is interesting as well. But like the things that are near and dear to my heart are like the security aspects and the blockchain aspects, and like how the technology works to make the whole system hang together on a line.
I'm looking forward to your next chapter. And can you let everyone know how they can follow you on Twitter, on LinkedIn?
For sure. Twitter, it's 5-inch Pixie, and on LinkedIn, it's Murata.
Okay.
Murata.
You must follow her. It's like I said, you want to be at the conference she runs, and man, I'm excited. Are you going to DEF CON or Black Hat?
Undecided. I'm still a little freaked out about traveling, and definitely Vegas is a bit of a head trip. But I'll let you know.
I will be there, and if I'm there and you are there, please reach out. I will be 100%. Doing Hack Chat from Black Hat. So
sounds awesome.
You already know you are invited. So I'm excited. Guys, please make sure you follow Noelle. Follow me at Marco Figueroa. Until next time, thank you. Take care.